In today's video, we're going to look at the Japanese yen and how this could be one of the biggest opportunities of 2024. We'll talk about levels, how this could impact pairs like the dollar yen, and much more. So first and foremost, guys, happy holidays. Hope you've had a great week. I hope you've had a great year. This will be the last video, obviously, before Christmas, before the holiday week. So once again, happy holidays. Hope you guys are doing great out there. And also, if you guys do want to join the VIP group and get daily videos on 5 to 10 markets, exclusive charts and setups, real-time discussions with me, also see my trades in real time, etc. I am running a special right now on 70% off lifetime access. This is the lowest that it will ever be. Okay, so see the top of this video. I will put a link up there to take you directly to the 70% off offer. And that's also for a limited time. And one last thing here before we jump into, if you are enjoying these videos, guys, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon for notifications, and don't forget to like this video. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let's take a look here at the yen futures. This is a very underrated chart, and it's very similar to the DXY is for the dollar. So this shows essentially yen strength or weakness. It also moves inversely to a pair, for the most part, like the dollar yen. So when we look here at the yen futures chart, right, this is really interesting because we have a trend line off of the 2021 high from right back here. Not the 2021 high, but it's a very prominent high from a couple of years ago. So you can see that we do have this trend line, this descending trend line off of these highs. And you'll remember too, that in one of the most recent videos talking about the yen, we were looking at this level down here. Okay, so as the market was coming into this, I was telling everyone through this area to start looking for yen strength because the market was testing that 2022 low. And even if this had broken down, chances are we were likely to get a retest of that level and a reaction from that level given the significance of it. And sure enough, we've seen the yen strengthen considerably with pairs like the dollar yen coming off of this year's high by over 1,000 pips. And for those who don't know, this chart right here, like I said, it does move inversely to the dollar yen. So this shows yen strength or weakness. So don't confuse this with the dollar yen or the euro yen. If this market is moving up like this, it shows yen strength. If it's moving lower like it was back here, it's showing yen weakness. Okay, so recently, obviously, the yen has been strengthening, which is why we've seen a lot of those yen pairs come off of their yearly highs. Okay, so we know the macro picture here for the yen futures. Let's take a look now at the daily time frame and really drill into what's happening here over the past few weeks. So obviously, this is our low down here. This was support. We've seen the yen strengthen considerably since that time. This is that 2021 trend line, which we saw retested here on December 15th. And this is where I was telling VIP members, this is one of the benefits of being in our VIP Discord group is back here on this retest. Even before this, I was saying, watch out for this trend line because we're likely to see a retest there. And once we do, I would expect a pullback from the yen, which is exactly why we've seen the dollar yen, the euro yen, etc., show some relief here over the past couple of weeks. All right, now let's discuss what could happen here in 2024, right? Because we're almost through the year, so it's time to start looking forward now to 2024 and try to identify some macro themes. So going back to the weekly time frame, you can see here that we do have that trend line. However, we also have these highs right up here. Okay, so this is the 2023 high that occurred shortly after the year began, and this is that 2022 low. We've got the 2023 low over here. So clearly we have the market moving within this range. Even though it has been in a downtrend and we have this trend line, the market has been moving within this massive range here over the past couple of years. So that's really important to keep in mind because when you're trading something like the dollar yen, knowing that this chart moves inversely to that, if we see something like this over the coming weeks where we get the breakout above this level, a sustained break above it, get the retest, next would be these lows right back here, which is very close to the mid-range of this range right here. Okay, so up here in this area, that would be resistance, meaning that we're likely to see a rotation lower, yen weakness from there. So a rally from pairs like the dollar yen, and then potentially getting that move up here toward this area. Now, I don't know that it'll happen that quickly like it has in the past. I mean, this back here was a very aggressive rally from the yen. We don't know that that'll happen, again, that aggressively, but we do know that the yen is a very volatile currency, so it could happen, right? But something like this is one scenario that I'm looking at for 2024, where we get considerable yen strength on a breakout from this trend line. But first, we do have to get that sustained break, okay? Because as of right now, that level is serving as resistance. Now, the other scenario for the yen is going to be a sustained break back down here in this area in 2024, because this low right back here, okay, this low, this level, in fact, is very close to the mid-range of this range right here. Okay, so if we see yen futures drop below this area right through here, this support area, if it drops down here and starts trading down here in 2024, then that could mean a revisit of that multi-year support. Okay, now we'll take a look at the dollar yen here in a minute to show you kind of how this could line up. But those are the two scenarios that I'm watching. So simply put, we're either looking for a sustained break up here in 2024 to confirm that the yen is breaking out, right, and give us that move up there toward that range high in 2024, or we see the sustained break below this area down here, below this support, right, the move down here to show us that the market is likely heading back there toward those lows, which would of course be yen weakness. Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's take a look now at the dollar yen. So you can see here that if I move out this right here, okay, again, this is the inverse of the chart that we just looked at for the most part. Now, this up here, this is the 2022 high, which we saw retested back here. This is also what I was calling for back here when the dollar yen was trading close to it, because this wick, right, we knew that there was a decent amount of liquidity up here that the market would want to take before we got that rotation lower. Okay, now one thing that I'm eyeing here over the coming weeks, and first of all too, before I get to that, you can see where these levels right here are very clean. This pair has given us some really clean levels to trade with in 2023 and the same for 2024. So as of right now, we have the dollar yen coming out of this channel. Okay, now there's no immediate opportunity from this. Okay, so we got the breakdown following some heavy price action through here. That was a great opportunity. However, this channel really isn't going to give us much to do here in 2024. What I'm looking for is this trend line off of that 2022 high, because we never saw a retest of this level. Okay, now you can see right here before the breakout, we got a retest as resistance, we got the pullback, and then the breakout. Now, following that breakout, though, we never got a retest down here as support. So one thing that I'm eyeing in 2024 is a retest down here of this trend line. Now, depending on how the yen futures chart looks at the time, okay, depending on what the dollar does, this level, okay, this trend line here for the dollar yen could be this level up here for yen futures, okay, that mid-range that we talked about. So all these lows back here, this level right here for the yen futures could line up with this trend line down here for the dollar yen. I do think that this is going to be significant for the dollar yen in 2024, to where if we do get a retest there, okay, a breakout of this range, retest down here, I do think we probably get a relief rally from that area. Now, how far we go is going to depend on whether or not this pair can reclaim levels like this support right now that it's sitting at. Okay, so once again, you can see really clean levels here for the dollar yen, right? We got the retest right here recently. You can see this is our support right down here that's currently holding. So if we do get the move down here toward this trend line, it's going to be a matter of, you know, moving back here toward this key level right around 141.80 or so. And then whether or not we get a rejection from there and the market falls below this trend line, or we get a reclaim up there for more relief. Okay, and this is what I mean by level trading. That's all it's about. So if we do see the dollar yen though, test this level down here. Okay, so let's play through some scenarios here. This is our key level down here. If we see a retest down here, which I think we will, given where the market's trading, if we see a retest down here, we get something like this, the market breaks back below here. If we get that, that is going to be a significant breakdown for the dollar yen, to where I think in 2024, we are looking at a move back here toward the 127 area. Now, that would also line up, okay, with the yen futures chart we just looked at. So back to the weekly time frame, notice how this area up here, okay, those range highs, this right here, if we see this in 2024, that would likely equal the dollar yen being down there back to 127, okay? So that's one scenario to keep an eye on if we break below this trend line here and get more weakness here from the dollar yen. Now, alternatively, in 2024, Okay, again, level by level, if we see the market start to reclaim areas like this up here, if we get a sustained break back above here, then that's going to show strength toward areas like 146.50, potentially 148.35. And then at that point, if we get that, you're looking back here toward the yen futures chart and you're saying, okay, where are we in relation to this level that we just talked about, this low right back here, okay, this area? If we're seeing the yen futures drop below here, again, that is going to be bearish for the yen. All right, so a lot to unpack here. I hope that was really helpful for you guys. I hope it wasn't too confusing, but essentially we're just looking at the yen futures here to kind of confirm or negate certain scenarios for markets like the dollar yen. But regardless of what we get, I really think, guys, that this trend line is going to be one to watch, because this is going to dictate whether we get yen futures moving back down here and sustained break below here for a run back at the lows, or we get that sustained break above it in 2024 for that move toward the mid-range, and then possibly later in the year, the move back here toward those macro range highs. Okay, so either way, an incredible opportunity here coming up for the yen in 2024 based on these levels that we've discussed. All right, so once again, guys, happy holidays. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. And don't forget to claim your 70% off lifetime access to our VIP group. See the link in the description of this video for details. Trade well out there, guys, and I will talk to you again next week.